Sport is superstition, science, family, drama, love, theatre. It's everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for sports fans that's better. Gamble responsibly.
Time to look at the AFC matches in the Super Wild Card Round here on Fox Sports Lab NFL. We're talking AFC. And Freddie, before we get into those games, there's a lot of talk about the quarterbacks in the AFC. We know we've got Mahomes, we know we've got Burrows for the Bengals, and we know we've got the Bills quarterback in Josh Allen. Who's the best quarterback in the AFC?
I really, it is hard. I think that, the Bills quarterback is a great quarterback, but you're only as good as your system. And Andy Reid drafted me first round. I understand his system. I understand the intricacies of what he does, what he's doing to make a quarterback look great. I mean, he made Donovan McNabb look good, So, and if you can do that, you have a good system. So, I mean, it's actually, I really think that Mahomes really owned this system, and he's doing such an amazing job controlling and doing what you see the passes that he's doing, no look passes like he's throwing the basketball around. It's an absolutely amazing thing that he's doing, and his guns around him. Oh man, it's gonna be lights out.
He is an amazing quarterback, but you're only as good as your offensive line, and that offensive line gives him time. We didn't mention Lamar Jackson, who runs the ball a lot. I mean, the modern quarterback is running more than they used to. What are your thoughts?
Well, you saw Joe Burrow this year as well, right? You saw that offensive line get better and better and better as the year went on, and you saw Cincinnati turn their season completely around, right? As soon as they got healthier, as soon as they got better, that was the result. I've got to agree with Freddie with Mahomes still being the best though, because it feels like you can trust him the most in a big spot. Yep. He's been there, he's done it, he's already won the Super Bowl. Until Josh Allen actually gets over that hump, it's pretty hard to sort of go, oh, well, he's definitely number one. And Burrow taking them to Super Bowl last year was really, really great. I wanted to see maybe a little bit more from him this year, just a little bit more to sort of get into that absolute...
Towards the back end we have.
Exactly, but I want to see that top echelon, let's knock him down and smash him kind of vibe out of Joe Burrow. But for me, it's still Mahomes, so yeah.
Okay, let's get to the games. Let's get to the first one. We're going to take a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars up against the Chargers. Again, James, it's a little bit of a false fourth seed. They've improved. I mean, off the arm of Trevor Lawrence, they've been really good. Coach Peterson's really sort of got him going at his best. But can they take it any further, or is this, all right, we've made it, we can tick the box?
This is a fascinating game,
It is the most fascinating game.
Absolutely fascinating. No one really, if anyone tells you what's going to happen in this game, they're lying to you. As Freddie mentioned, though, right, it's all about offensive schemes and fitting in with your coach. And Doug Peterson, you mentioned that. Yeah. The job that he has done in Jacksonville has been absolutely outstanding this season. He coming in and sort of being that, quarterback whisperer for Trevor Lawrence is incredible. But he did the same thing in Philly as well, as, Freddie would know. The vibe of Peterson coming in there, changing the entire outlook of this team after a year of just hell from, having Urban Meyer sort of running the show. Great turnaround. But I still kind of like the Chargers in this game. I just trust Justin Herbert just that little bit more. If Mike Williams is still a bit banged up, I'm a bit worried, but they've still got Keenan Allen. Joey Bosa did practice this week as well, so if you've got your Bosa out there on your defense, I think you're sort of sorted. That's one of those vibes. Give me a Bosa on my defense and I'm flying. But 5 and 4 on the road for Juzzy Herbs, as I love to call him.
Juzzy Herbs?
Juzzy Herbs.
Sounds like something you'd buy in a supermarket.
Exactly. It's an ingredient. But I just trust that offense more for the Chargers than I think the Jags. This feels like the year of the come-up for the Jags.
Yeah, it does. It feels like it's a building year.
To make the playoffs, feel good about it, and get that experience under some of their young dudes, like Travis Etienne, under Lawrence's belt. But I think the Chargers will be a little bit too good. Yeah,
they won their last 5 here, the Jags. Eddie, it's the most fascinating game of the round. For me, it is, and it's the closest game of the round as far as the spread is. It's only a 2.5 spread.
Somebody better tease some points, better buy some points down or something. But I was, James, actually, I was thinking about that too. I was like, Chargers. Right away, Chargers. But no, Dougie P comes from a great pedigree of now Super Bowl champions. Andy Reid taught, Doug Peterson when he was with the Eagles. And if Doug P can make Carson Wentz, he was MVP before he got hurt. And now he's coming in and doing this. I really do think with the home field advantage, Dougie P is going to have that team ready to play and understand playoff football. And I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, let's just be clear, though. You are still in Philly, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All right. Once a Phillies man, always a Phillies man. Let's get to the next game. It's the Bills taking on the Dolphins. The Dolphins fell in. The Bills have been great. We know they had that game against the Bengals. They may have got the top seed, but that's in the past now. But the Bills win this game, surely.
That's 100% my read on this. The Dolphins are down to their third string, Skylar Thompson. They weren't much chop final week of the season. They did get past the Jets because my beloved Patriots
couldn't get a touchdown against the Jets.
Exactly. So it just feels like this Bills team riding off the emotion of Damar Hamlin and his recovery, which is obviously massive, like one of the greatest stories in sport, like the recovery of him. The Bills can basically look at this, go, right, this Dolphins defense hasn't been great all season. It's had some moments, but hasn't been great. And when you've got weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but you're using your third string QB.
But you haven't got the quarterback to go with them.
It just makes it really tough to keep up with this explosive Bills offense that can kind of do whatever they want a lot of the time behind Allen, Stephon Diggs and co.
Occasionally, Freddie, the Bills get a little bit sloppy, but they've got the talent, and now they've got this emotional wave that they can ride towards a Super Bowl, maybe.
Well, you know what? You were saying 49ers have a third string quarterback as well.
Yeah.
So, you never know, but I definitely know that Miami's not going to beat the Buffalo Bills. The NFL loves tragedy stories. They love to build this up. We're doing this for our player that just got injured. I really do think that the Bills will go a long way, and there's just no chance. And on top of that, it's home field advantage, and let's face it, the Miami Dolphins are, they're sipping pina coladas in Miami South Beach. Weather's great, but when they hit that cold, it's a whole different story.
Exactly right. Beautifully summed up, Freddie. And our final game to look at is the Bengals taking on the Ravens. We just saw them play last week. The Bengals were 4-4. All of a sudden, they really got going towards the end of the season. They've been playing well under Joe Burrows. It's the opposite for the Ravens. No Lamar Jackson, no Baltimore Ravens. It's as simple as that. Statistically, he's worth 10 points a game. They can't score without him.
They literally can't score without him, can they, man? It's pretty tough. Like, Cincinnati are riding, I think it's an 8-game win streak at this point. They're just absolutely rolling. They look great. Even with some of those weird sort of injuries that pop up for their receivers here and there, there's way too much in terms of like offensive weaponry for the Bengals. For the Ravens to even have a hope, I think, of keeping up.
They play well defensively.
So you have Roquan Smith, you have that sort of really tough Ravens defense. Yeah. But just literally, if you're going to try to slow down that Bengals offense, best of luck to you. It might be, a way where the Ravens can keep them to 24. But the trick is, you then also have to score more than 24 yourself, and I just can't see the Ravens doing that. So Cincinnati are probably the biggest favourite, I'd say, this weekend, just because that offense is such a high ceiling. Like, I think Burrow can absolutely tear them apart. The Ravens, it's been a really tough season, hasn't it? Like, just so weird. 10 wins, but they've not looked good down the stretch.
No, they haven't, and even we managed to beat them, the Steelers, which was great because my son barracks for the Ravens, Freddie. Any chance of an upset here? And I think it's interesting with the Bengals. They were surprised into the Super Bowl last year, and they'll be looking to go deep again with a little bit more experience this year.
Yeah, they have that playoff experience, and I don't even know if Lamar is playing or not. But if he does play, he's been known to not play well in the playoffs and come rusty. So that's at least 2 interceptions to me for him trying to create something that simply is not there. I think that Burrow's done a great job of being a leader, being a quarterback, and I think it'll be a blowout or at least 21-10. I really do think that that Burrow will take that team deep into the playoffs.
All right, Freddie, that's the Super Wild Card Round looked at. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to talking to you next week when the great thing is we can talk to you about the Philly Eagles.
Yeah, there's only one guarantee I'm going to tell you for all my picks, that the Philadelphia Eagles will go to the second round.
Thanks, mate. See you next week.
I'll see you later.
All right, Freddie Mitchell joining us there, a big Philly fan. Before we wrap up, we've talked about some games that are almost a fait accompli as far as really easy. What are the easy ones for us to just to finish off?
Oh, just to knock in a head-to-head multi there if you want, Matty. I'd say just go Niners, Bills, Cincy and just sort of roll that off. Go to 3 sort of bigger favourites. Get that, to handy odds. Not great because they're very, very big favourites, but I think those 3 are the very easy sort of ones to pick. The other 3 are a little bit more topsy-turvy, so I'd stick Niners, Bills and Cincy as my pick. Niners, Bills and the Bengals. Thanks, mate. No worries. And thank you for joining us here on Fox Sports Lab NFL. You can subscribe below. We'll be going right through to the Super Bowl in about 4 or 5 weeks' time, and we'll see you next week.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.